Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 217.
Order, honorable members. The Honorable Minister, Acting Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to thank the member for asking the following questions. The Honourable Member for Chinsali wanted to know how many of the following were at Chinsali Correctional Centre in Chinsali District as of August 2025. And these are as follows, Madam Speaker. 1, correctional service officers. In 2, staff houses. And in B, whether the government has any plans to build additional staff houses for Chinsali Correctional Facility, and C, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and in D, if there are no such plans, why? Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House as follows, that as of August 2025, Chinsali Correctional Centre in Chinsali District had the following in terms of service officers, correctional service officers. The Zambia Correctional Service had a total of 40 officers stationed at Chinsali Correctional Centre in Chinsali District. 40, Madam Speaker, against an establishment that provides for 45 officers. So out of 45, 40 were already there on the date or at that dates that the Honourable MP has put across. Of these officers, 26 were male uniformed officers, 13 were female uniformed officers, and 1, Madam Speaker, was a female non-uniformed staff member. Madam Speaker, in staff houses, the Zambia Correctional Service had 10 staff housing units in Chinsali District to accommodate some of the officers stationed at Chinsali Correctional Centres. And B, government has plans, therefore, Madam Speaker, to construct additional staff housing units at Chinsali Correctional Facility in order to adequately accommodate correctional officers within the facility premises. This initiative is aimed at improving staff welfare, enhancing operational efficiency, and strengthening security through increased officer presence within close proximity to the facility. Chinsali Correctional Facility, Madam Speaker, has sufficient land. Chinsali Correctional Facility has sufficient land to support the proposed housing development by this New Dawn administration. The facility is situated on approximately 372 hectares of land, the Honourable Member would wish to know, and I'm sure he's aware, which provides ample space for the construction of additional staff houses as well as related staff support infrastructure. The availability of land within the facility presents an opportunity, therefore, for phased development of staff accommodation in line with the government priorities and available resources, Madam Speaker. Once implemented, the project is expected to significantly reduce accommodation challenges faced by our officers, improve morale, and contribute to the effective management and security of the facility and the inmates therein. C, the plans to construct additional housing units will be implemented when funds are made available. And in the last case, Madam Speaker, the government has plans to construct additional staff housing, as earlier indicated, at Chinsali Correctional Facility. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, as we consult, can we do that quietly? Because I can hear each and every word that you are saying. For some reason, you hear everything from here. So careful also what you are saying. So if you want to discuss, you can go outside, have a chat and come back. I can even hear somebody say, question. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, you've stated that we have a total number of 40 correctional officers in Chinsali, and we only have 10 houses. And you are suggesting that the construction of you have stated that we only have 10 houses against 40 correctional service officers that we have. Then you have further indicated that government has plans to build houses when funds are available. Now, considering that, Honorable Minister, these 10 houses that we have, I think we've had them from a time immemorial. The first time they were built, those are the only numbers that's the only number that we have. Looking at correctional services, the correctional service officers, they do build houses themselves, just like Zambia National Service. Why can't we come up with an approach where in every budget for the year, we should be including money for infrastructure development so that we can be building houses, even if we are building one or two houses every year, you find that we are going to significantly reduce the shortage of houses for correctional service officers. Why don't we do that, Honorable Minister, so that it can help the situation rather than waiting for a time when we are going to have money to build a shortfall of, to build houses for, is it 30 that we have, which is a shortfall? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Acting Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Madam Speaker, I thank you, and I would like to thank the honorable member who actually has made a submission which is most welcome as to how this president, President Hakainde Hichilema, governs. He has invited time and again ideas which should be able to enhance what your government is doing. And recognizing, Madam Speaker, to assure the honorable member, in view of the question that he has indicated, I heard on the floor, I heard someone say CDF. Yes, CDF is also very important. It is money for development to service our people, for better service delivery. If we are constructing for teachers, we are constructing for officers in the Zambia police and everywhere else in the other sectors, why would we not also utilize that using the channels for application through the WDC when there's a need that is urgent, such as the one expressed by the honorable member for Chinsali? It is important to check out all the options available and begin to take a bite and take out 2 houses at a time, 1 house, like we are doing in all sectors. So I encourage that as well, but as well welcome the submission that has been made by the honorable member. After all, President Hakainde Hichilema has embarked on improvement of the lives of all the inmates, as has been seen in providing for furniture that never used to be there, like beds that have been provided for the inmates. Why would we not also plan for our officers? So yes, indeed, in our rolling plans, which interprets the strategic plan for the Zambia Correctional Services, we have committed to plan for these as we go beyond 2026. I submit.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Shiwangandu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On a lighter note, I hope the Right Honorable Madam Speaker is not spying on our members. Because to hear it voices like mine, when the mic is off, is
Just careful what you say.
Madam, I said on a lighter note, Madam Speaker.
No, I understand. I'm also saying on a lighter note.
Yeah. Honorable Minister, Acting Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. At your ministry, or at the ministry in which you are acting, there was a robust project to construct housing units, modern housing units for our men in uniform, the correctional service officers, police, immigration, and Drug Enforcement Commission, which saw the construction of some of the beautiful houses you see, Lilai, Monze, Mazabuka, Copperbelt, and many areas, which was being implemented in the phased approach. The substantive minister assured this August House that that project was going to continue in the same phases it was structured. Would you care to share with this August what has happened to that project, which could have seen houses being constructed in Chinsali for the correctional service, just as it is in Kawe and other areas? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Acting Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
I'd like to thank the Honourable Member and former Minister for Home Affairs, Madam Speaker. Indeed, the Honourable Minister, the substantive Minister, did indicate what he may have at that time. And Madam Speaker, I think we need to put everything in context that this government took office in a situation where development allocation and attention was a lot of people would say fragmented, with some sectors receiving attention, other sectors receiving none, some regions receiving attention, some other regions receiving none, some constituents across the nation, citizens receiving some, and others receiving none. And one of the jobs, the critical jobs that this government undertook to do was to recalibrate, check every sector and every community in Zambia. And today, Madam Speaker, I will still refer to a new injection of life that has come through to every part of Zambia, and those are the resources that had to be redistributed and taken to everyone across the nation in the 156 constituencies. That meant that CDF money that came and all the provisions that have come through, including vehicles for police and health, came from those resources that were skewed in distribution at the time. So in that view, Madam Speaker, doesn't mean that attention is not there on this particular issue, as has been demonstrated with the many things, good things that have happened, and some constructions of spaces like Mwembeshi. New block of accommodation block is being done for males, and there will be another one for females. This is a plan and a journey of the new Dawn administration that should assure our people, the good people of Chinsali, that certainly that rolling plan from the 8th National Development Plan will arrive, like we have managed to give them 40 officers out of 45. And so these accommodation will be attended to, as has been indicated, when resources are available. But with the available resources under CDF, the Honourable Member is encouraged to also come along. We hold hands from the decentralized resources as well as the other infrastructural resources that may be available. I submit.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Now, Honourable Minister,
Honourable
I've heard...
Member for Chinsali, just a moment. There is an indication for a point of order. Honorable Member for Shiwangandu, what's the point of order?
Madam Speaker, the point of order is pursuant to Standing Order 71. And my question was very specific, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Minister has given a loaded response without responding to the question I posed. Madam Speaker, I posed the question to my Honorable Minister to find out what has happened to a contract which was running. It was a national contract, not regional. It was a national contract. That's why I cited the areas like Mazabuka, Monze, Kabwe, Lusaka. It was a national project to construct more than 4,000 housing units. And it was running. When I posed the question to the Honorable Substantive Minister, he assured the House that the project was going to continue. That's a project I asked the Minister, what has happened to this project? I didn't want to be lectured to CDF projects, and that it was specific. I seek your serious ruling, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Shiwangandu. If you look at the question, it's talking about construction of houses in Chinsali. The contract that you are referring to is a more general issue, which is not mentioned in here. So I believe the Honorable Minister would, especially that she is acting, she would not have that information on her fingertips because there was no prior knowledge of that information or that question. So if the Honorable Member for Shiwangandu would like to have clarity on that issue, I suggest he puts in a question to the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. May the Honorable Member for Chinsali continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Now, Honorable Minister, I have listened to the answer that you've provided, and I was just trying to check through my records, the records here, and I've found that from the time when UPND came to government up to date, you have acquired about $8 billion in terms of debt. How come from all that money you have failed to build even just one house for the correctional services officers in
a point of order, Madam Speaker.
I thank you,
Order.
Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Chinsali. Before the Honorable Minister comes on, there is an indication for a point of order. The Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, what's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in my capacity as Acting Minister of Finance and National Planning. In regard to the startling statement that has been made by the Honourable Member in asserting that this government has acquired $8 billion in debt, it's purely speculative. It is nowhere near that amount, and the Honourable Member has not laid any evidence on the floor or on the table, as it were, to support that assertion. My standing order, relax, take a deep breath. My standing order arises, my point of order arises from Standing Order 71 relevance. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member from Pika, you know that you are breaching our standing orders by debating while you are seated. In terms of the point of order, honorable members, when we make a session on the floor of the House, it should be factual and it should be supported and verifiable. So, Honorable Member Fonkana, the allegation that we have made about the $8 billion was Chisali. Is it Chisali? But the Honorable Member Fonkana also mentioned the same figure. Yes. So both of you, the Honorable Member Fonkana, Honorable Member for Chinsali, but since the Honorable Member for Chinsali, he was the one who was holding the floor. Honorable Member for Chinsali, whatever allegation you state on the floor of the House must, one, be factual, two, should be verifiable. do you have any information to support the information, the allegation that you made about the level of debt that the government has incurred? We are not engaging into a discussion here. I'm guiding that don't make allegations if you cannot support those allegations. It should be factual and verifiable. So the Honorable Member for Chisari, please withdraw your statement regarding the level of debt that the government has incurred, since you don't have any supporting evidence to support your allegation.
Madam Speaker, we have the borrowing plans I can lay on the floor.
Honorable
on the
Member, we are not talking about the borrowing plan. You said the government has incurred a debt of so much.
Yes, that's what I said,
So
Madam.
a plan and the actual incurring is not one and the same thing. Please withdraw so that we make progress.
Madam Speaker, it's very easy. We can just do a calculation between what we currently have as debt and what the debt was.
Honorable Member for Chinsali, you've been
Yes, ma'am.
guided. Can you withdraw so that we make progress?
Madam Speaker, I withdraw on your instruction that the government borrowed 8
Honorable
billion.
Member for Chinsali, please may you take your seat? Honorable Member for Chinsali, you've been guided. Please don't vary the guidance that you've been given. Withdraw unconditionally.
Madam Speaker, I withdraw that the UPND government has borrowed unconditionally.
You mentioned an amount, a figure. You mentioned a figure. Is that figure?
Madam Speaker, I withdraw that the UPND government acquired a debt of $8 billion. Madam Speaker, I'm apologizing here and they are mocking me, these people, because it's like they are forcing me to now go and bring the actual amount that has been borrowed, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member, order. When we come to debate, especially that this question has been asked by yourself. So when you come to the House to debate, you must first of all do the necessary research. Secondly, you should have all the supporting documents that you want to rely on you, so that in the event that you need to lay them on the table, you can be able to do that with ease. There is no provision in the standing orders stating that if a member is making an allegation which cannot be substantiated, should be given a time to go and hunt for those documents and then come and lay them on the floor of the House. So please be guided accordingly. Any document that you want to rely on should always be with you and on you, so that as and when you require to lay it on the table, you'll be able to do that with ease. So now you can ask your supplementary question.
Madam Speaker, I already asked the question. Thank you.
Okay, because of the activities that happened in between the time you asked the question and now, I suggest that you repeat the question so that we are on the same page.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, considering that the UPND government has engaged in extensive borrowing, and it has borrowed billions of dollars, which the UPND government said they will not engage in borrowing. They have borrowed locally, which has resulted in...
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Order. There is an indication for a point of order. The Honorable Minister of Commerce.
Madam Speaker, since the accession to office of the UPND government, we brought it to Parliament that should we decide to borrow as a government, we'll bring it for approval by this Parliament. Madam Speaker, is the member on the floor in order to assert that the UPND government has borrowed billions, which he cannot prove? Madam Speaker, our government is very clear and on firm grounds that we do not borrow billions, but we get grants to propose and bring national development. Where were they, Madam Speaker, if we've been borrowing those billions which we do not know ourselves as the executive? Can you bring with relevance on the table, Madam Speaker, that which we have borrowed? Is the member in order to mislead himself, his constituents, and the country that the UPND government has been borrowing billions? Madam Speaker, I seek your serious ruling.
Oh, the Honorable Member Fonkana, please just control yourself. Don't debate while you are seated. Please. Honorable Member for Chinsali, I had guided. And instead of following the guidance, you started varying the guidance that was given to you. When you are guided, just ask your question and we make progress. You cannot prove that the government has borrowed billions. You have... So please, can so the Honorable Member for Chinsali was out of order. May the Honorable Member for Chinsali ask his supplementary question, which is factual and verifiable. You may proceed, Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Madam Speaker, I'll ask a question. Unfortunately, it's a bit difficult for me because I cannot be penalized for my friend's failure to understand what I'm talking about. UPND cannot refuse that they have borrowed billions of
the
dollars.
Honorable Member for Chinsali, if you don't have a question, let's give a chance to another Honorable Member to ask.
Let me ask a different question, Madam Speaker.
Order. When you are guided, let's follow the guidance that you are given so that we make progress. Let's not introduce controversy or being political in our questions because that will attract a reaction, and that is not good. We want to make progress. So I'm giving you the last chance. Can you ask your supplementary question?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On this last chance that I've been given, Honorable Minister.
The Honorable Member for Chinsali, you may take your seat. The Honorable Member for Ron.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to ask a follow-up question. Honorable Acting Minister, my question is, in your statement, you had indicated that the establishment for Chinsali District in terms of correctional service officers is 45. And currently, you have 40 officers serving there. When is your ministry going to employ the remaining 5 so that the 45 establishment is satisfied? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to Honorable Member for Ron. Within the planned resources, Madam Speaker, for each year, we intend to continue prospecting for planning more staff, as was the case whereby by August last year, 2025, the ministry was able to bring this establishment to 40. We are intent at the ministry to ensure that the following year's budget will carry on the remainder of the staff in batches. And as resources are availed by the Treasury, budgeted and approved by this Parliament, Treasury will be able to allocate accordingly as per the available purse. I submit.
Thank you very much. You've taken a lot of time on this issue. I want to make progress. So, Honorable Member for Mitete, I'm going to skip you. But before I go to the next question, the Honorable Member from Nkana, what's the point of order?
Madam Speaker, the point of order I raise is on Honourable Member for Chinsadi. Madam Speaker, is this Honourable Member in order to suggest and fail to state precisely that in 2026...
Order, Honourable Member, what's the breach?
The breach is on standing order number 71. The information we tender before Parliament must be accurate.
Honourable Member for Nkana, you may take your seat. We have already dealt with question number 217. We are making progress and we are going to the next item. So that point of order is not admissible. Next question, the Honourable Member for Milenge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 218.
The Honourable Minister of Water, Acting Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. The Honourable Member of Parliament for Milenge constituents asks the Minister of Water and Sanitation whether the government has any plans to construct a water treatment plant in the Milenge district. If so, when the plans will be implemented, and if there are no such plans, why? Madam Speaker, in response to the question raised by Honourable Chon, the Member of Parliament for Milenge Parliamentary Constituency, I wish to inform this August House that, yes, government has plans to construct a water treatment plant in the Milenge district as part of its broader program to expand access to safe and reliable water supply services in rural and peri-urban districts. Madam Speaker, you may wish to note that government has already undertaken feasibility studies for the construction of the water treatment plant for Milenge district. The water treatment plant in Milenge will be constructed once funds are secured. Government is exploring various financing options, including budgetary allocation and cooperating partner support, to ensure the project is implemented in a sustainable manner. Madam Speaker, as alluded to in A above, government has plans to construct a water treatment plant in Milenge. Madam Speaker, since this question is constituency-based, I thought it would be wise for me to share some additional notes with the Honourable Member of Parliament for Milenge. Under the National Urban Water Supply and Sanitation Program in June 2017, a techno-economic study, detailed engineering designs and tender documents were prepared for water supply and sanitation improvements in Mansabombwe, Chembe, Chipili, and the Milenge districts, which includes construction of water treatment plants. For Milenge district, the study established that approximately United States dollars 3,615,347 would be required for the development of initial water supply and sanitation infrastructure, including the construction of a water treatment plant. This is earmarked to be implemented in the second phase. The first phase involved the implementation of water treatment plant in Mansa, Samfya, Mwense, and Kawamba under the Integrated Small Towns Water Supply and Sanitation Project, which commenced on 22nd May 2020. The project was financed by the African Development Bank at a total sum of 150 million United States dollars, covering northern, Mochenga, western, and Wapra provinces. the production capacity for the water treatment plant and the beneficiaries in the district of Luapula province where the project was implemented is as follows. In Mansa, Madam Speaker, production capacity is 18,240 meter cubes per day, covering a population of 144,996. In Zambia, production capacity is 8,658 meter cubic per day, covering a population of 80,129. Mwense production capacity is 120,000 per day, covering a population of 39,868. Kawamba final production capacity of 2,500 meter cubes per day, covering a population of 39,878. Other water supply intervention, Madam Speaker, in Menenge district, the Ministry of Water, Development and Sanitation, in collaboration with the local authority, has implemented and continues to implement several water supply interventions in the Menenge district, as outlined below. Between 2024 and 2025, the ministry rehabilitated 30 boreholes in the Menenge district under the contract for the rehabilitation of 125 non-functional boreholes in selected districts of Luapula province. Between 2022 and 2023, the ministry drilled 10 new boreholes and constructed 2 solar-powered small piped water schemes. Under small piped water schemes, the ministry has signed a new contract to upgrade 4 boreholes into solar-powered mechanized small piped water schemes under Campembia. In addition, 10 boreholes are scheduled to be equipped under the same contract, which is expected to commence in early this very year, 2026. Under Constituency Development Fund, Madam Speaker, in 2024, the following water supply projects were implemented. Molombi community drilling and equipping of a borehole fitted with an AfriDev hand pump. Fishikwa Rural Health Center, construction of a solar-powered piped water scheme with 5,000-liter storage capacity. And Pondo Rural Health Center, construction of a solar-powered piped water scheme with a 5,000-liter storage capacity. Kafwanka Rural Health Center, construction of a solar-powered piped water scheme with a 5,000-liter storage capacity. Under the 2025 CDF intervention, Madam Speaker, Mombotuta Rural Health Growth Center, construction of 2 20,000-liter solar-powered water schemes, as well as drilling and equipping of 5 boreholes fitted with AfriDev hand pumps. Madam Speaker, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Milenge, do you have any question with that bonus answer? I know the question was water treatment plant, but now it was the Honorable Member for Milenge.
No, thank you very much. No, we thank the Minister for the supplementary information, which obviously my office possesses as a pioneer in terms of implementing government projects. But however, for the sake of clarity, Minister, I've heard that in your initial answer you had indicated, because what we are talking about infrastructure development in terms of water treatment plant. Do you have some timelines that we can tell the people of Milenge that the government is recognizing your need as far as this sector is concerned? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, the Honorable Acting Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and I'd like to thank my dear colleague for a follow-up question. Madam Speaker, we are still looking for resources for me. So for me to give a timeline, I want to be honest to my dear colleague. But efforts are being made by the ministry to look at where where we can get resources to undertake, since we have already done the first phase in the same province. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Next question, the Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 219.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Information, Media and Media.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I want also to thank Honorable Member for Chinsali, that indeed he has really been very, very active for the past 1 week. He has pushed in a lot of questions. Thank you very much for effective representation that you've really provided. Madam Speaker, the question that is coming from Honorable Kalalwe Mukosa is asking the Minister of Information and Media when the government will procure utility vehicles for the Zambia News and Information Services Office in Muchinga Province to enhance operations. Our response, Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Information and Media, in September 2025, for the first time, Madam Speaker, bought motor vehicles for all provincial offices, including Muchinga, September 2025. That was last year. And according, Madam Speaker, the motor vehicle from Muchinga provincial office is a Mitsubishi Triton, which is currently in use in the province. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions? The Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I want to accept the compliment that has been given by my elder brother, who I also want to commend for having improved in the way he articulates issues in the past 1 year. His performance has improved greatly, comparing with the way he came and where he is now. So I commend him. Please keep it up, Honorable Acting Minister. And I want to thank you I'm thanking you, the ministry and the government, for having provided us with that vehicle. So my question, Honorable Minister, is do we have... Sorry, Madam Speaker, the Minister for Tourism keeps on disturbing me. So I wanted to ask Honorable Minister, how adequate is one vehicle in covering a province when it comes to Zani's work? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Acting Minister of Information and Media.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I want to say that I'm humbled. I'm humbled with your compliment. Very humbled. Madam Speaker, we are coming from where no vehicle was allocated to any provincial capital. Correct. We are coming from all the districts who couldn't even see a vehicle, including other equipment that they do use. But now, we are starting from somewhere, Madam Speaker. I've just said that 10 provincial vehicles have been allocated. So it means that there's something that is being done. Unlike before, as if they didn't know that these officers would want to move. Sometimes we even start thinking, how were they even moving? Under my colleague's defunct party. So I'm happy that, Madam Speaker, a journey of 1,000 kilometers starts with a step. And I believe that this is a very, very good step in the right direction. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. These small jabs, subtle jabs we are throwing at each other, I'm humbled. I'm also humbled. The Honorable Member for Jamba North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Thank you, Acting Minister, Information and Media, for your responses. Honorable Minister, I'm alive to the fact that most of the ZANIS officers countrywide have been having challenges of transport, including Chama. Now, we are having elections this year, and ZANIS provides a very, very important role in terms of information dissemination. Now, would you be in a position, Acting Minister, to indicate whether in the 2026 national budget or maybe funding from the cooperating partners are going to be sourced so that you are able to buy more vehicles, at least each district, so that our officers will be able to disseminate information effectively so that Zambians are able to make informed decisions come 13th August 2026. I submit.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of Information and Media.
Afternoon, Chair. Afternoon, members of the committee. My name is
Madam Speaker, this government does not always connect everything we do to elections. I think this is where the difference can be seen. Our colleagues, and I'm happy that if these were the MPs that were there before, ZANIS would have gotten all the vehicles that they may need in all the districts. But maybe we had different members of parliament in the PF. Let me thank you also, I think, for being so brilliant in asking this government these questions, because these questions were not being asked before. Answering your question, Madam Speaker, before we could even go to the cooperating partners, before we could even go to beg for more vehicles, beg for donations, this ministry, Madam Speaker, has already written to the Minister of Finance. Since we want to do this in a phased approach, we have requested for more 40 vehicles so that we can now give to the districts in this country. And this will only come under the supplementary budget that we have asked from the Ministry of Finance. Obviously, in our quest, Madam Speaker, to improve the operations of ZANIS, government is very desirous indeed to make sure that we procure more vehicles so that we ease the movements of our officers. And I believe that what we are asking for in terms of bringing more information from the ground, they will be able to do that. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for the answers you have provided. As I provide my question, I would want to talk about the issue first that you talked about, that the defunct government then, they failed to buy vehicles. We commend you, Honorable Minister. You have bought 10 vehicles. That's for all the 10 provinces. And you wondered why the previous government never managed to buy vehicles. I would like to state that if you go to most provincial centers, you'll find ZNBC studios, where even some ZANIS officers are operating. The value of those studios are more than 5 times the value of one vehicle. No, I'll talk about, for example, Muchinga province. We have a provincial studio, ZNBC studio, which is valued at more than 5 times the value of one vehicle. But we appreciate the effort that you have made in procuring the vehicles, and one of which you have given us in Muchinga. Now, you have indicated that you have requested, let me say, I would like to seek a clarification on the issue that you talked about having requested for funding from Ministry of Finance. Are you talking about this year, or it's maybe the years to come? That's just a clarification I want to seek, Honorable Minister. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Information and Media.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. and thank Honourable Member for that follow-up question. Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member talked about studios, and yet the question is about vehicles. But Madam Speaker, the studios that he talked about, so that we are on record, these are the studios that we are not even operating. These are the studios that ourselves now have found resources to complete them. So don't talk about something that you do not know, something that you do not have information about. Yes, those were just buildings. There was nothing in it. We need to thank this government for now completing all these structures. And also, you are aware that what we are doing there in Kasama and other provincial capitals. So I would want to urge my colleague to talk about something that he understands. Now, when we talk about the question of when, it's this year. Thank you, Madam Speaker, this year.
Thank you very much. The clerk will now read the orders of the day.
The Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2025, committee stage.
Thank you. I now consolidate orders 1, 2, and 3, and the House will now resolve into committee.
The Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2025. Clause 1, short title. Any debate and objection? Clause 1 is agreed to. Clause 2, amendment of section 2. Any debate and objection? There's a lot of consultation going on there. Yes, I've never sent one, I will. The question is that clause 2 stands part of the bill. The acting Minister of Justice.
Mr. Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 2 be amended with the words as circulated.
Thank you. The question is that clause 2 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate? Any objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 2 as amended. Any further debate? I see none. I put the question. The question is that clause 2 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 2 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 3, amendment of section 123. Any debate and objection? The question is that clause 3 stands part of the bill. The acting Minister of Justice.
I beg to move that the clause 3 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that clause 3 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 3 as amended. Any further debate? I see none. I put the question. The question is that clause 3 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary saying no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 3 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 4, repeal and replacement of section 192, proof of certain facts by affidavit or certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 4 is agreed to. Clause 5, evidence of fingerprint or blood test of accused. Any debate and objection? The question is that clause 5 stands part of the bill. The acting Minister of Justice.
I beg to move that clause 5 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that clause 5 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 5 as amended. Any further debate? I see none. I put a question. The question is that clause 5 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 5 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Another amendment, the acting Honorable Minister of Justice.
I beg to move that clause 5 be further amended with words as circulated.
The question is that clause 5 be further amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 5 as further amended. Any further debate? I see none. I put a question. The question is that clause 5 as further amended stands part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 5 as further amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Long title. Any debate and objection? Long title is agreed to. The bill will be reported to the House as having passed through the committee with amendments. The Food Reserve Bill, National Assembly Bill number 33 of 2025. Short, clause 1, short title. Any debate and objection? Clause 1 is agreed to. Clause 2, interpretation. Any debate and objection? Clause 2 is agreed to. Clause 3, continuation of Food Reserve Agency. Any debate and objection? Clause 3 is agreed to. Clause 4, seal of authority. Any debate and objection? The question is that clause 4 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 4 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that clause 4 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 4 as amended. Any further debate? I see none. I put the question. The question is that clause 4 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 4 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 5, functions of agency. Any debate and objection? Clause 5 is agreed to. Clause 6, constitution of board. Any debate and objection? Clause 6 is agreed to. Clause 7, functions of board. Any debate and objection? Clause 7 is agreed to. Clause 8, tenure of office. Any debate and objection? Clause 8 is agreed to. Clause 9, proceedings of board. Any debate and objection? Clause 9 is agreed to. Clause 10, committees. Any debate and objection? Clause 10 is agreed to. Clause 11, allowances. Any debate and objection? Clause 11 is agreed to. Clause 12, disclosure of interest. Any debate and objection? Clause 12 is agreed to. Clause 13, Prohibition of disclosure of information. Any debate and objection? The question is that Clause 13 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 13 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 13 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 13 as amended. Any further debate? I see none. I put a question. The question is that Clause 13 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. I repeat the question. I put the question. The question is that Clause 13 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 13 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 14, Executive Director, Secretary, and other staff. Any debate and objection? The question is that Clause 14 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 14 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 14 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment agreed to. Clause 14 as amended. Any further debate? I see none. I put the question. The question is that Clause 14 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 14 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 15, immunity. Any debate and objection? Clause 15 is agreed to. Clause 16, continuation of National Strategic Food Reserve. Any debate and objection? Clause 16 is agreed to. Clause 17, role of Minister in National Strategic Food Reserve. Any debate and objection? Clause 17 is agreed to. Clause 18, designation of agricultural commodities. Any debate and objection? Clause 18 is agreed to. Clause 19, purchase of designated agricultural commodities. Any debate and objection? The question is that Clause 19 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 19 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 19 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 19 as amended. Any further debate? I see none. I put the question. The question is that Clause 19 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 19 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 20, sale of designated agricultural commodity. Any debate and objection? Clause 20 is agreed to. Clause 21, receipt of donation of designated agricultural commodity and non-designated agricultural commodity. Any debate and objection? Clause 21 is agreed to. Clause 22, aid to foreign country. Any debate and objection? Clause 20 is agreed to. Clause 23, standard of designated agricultural commodity. Any debate and objection? Clause 23 is agreed to. Clause 24, offense and penalty for misrepresenting. Any debate and objection? Clause 24 is agreed to. Clause 25, funds of agency. Any debate and objection? Clause 25 is agreed to. Clause 26, financial year. Any debate and objection? Clause 26 is agreed to. 27, Clause 27, accounts and audited accounts. Any debate and objection? Clause 27 is agreed to. Clause 28, annual report. Any debate and objection? Clause 28 is agreed to. Clause 29, power to inspect records. Any debate and objection? Clause 29 is agreed to. Clause 30, restricted area. Any debate and objection? The question is that Clause 30 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 30 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 30 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 30 as amended. Any further debate? I see none. I put the question. The question is that Clause 30 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 30, as amended, is stand part of the bill. Clause 31, offense by principal officers of a corporate board and incorporated board. Any debate and objection? Clause 31 is agreed to. Clause 32, regulations. Any debate and objection? Clause 32 is agreed to. Clause 33, repeal of Act number 6 of 2020 and savings and transitional provisions. Any debate and objection? Clause 33 is agreed to. Clause schedule on page 24. Any debate and objection? Schedule on page 24 is agreed to. Long title. Any debate and objection? Long title is agreed to. The bill reported to the House as having passed through the committee with amendments. The Agricultural Marketing Bill, National Assembly Bill number 35 of 2025. Clause 1, short title. Any debate and objection? Clause 1 is agreed to. Clause 2, interpretation. Any debate and objection? Clause 2 is agreed to. Clause 3, Zambia Agricultural Marketing Council. Any debate and objection? Clause 3 is agreed to. Clause 4, function of council. Any debate and objection? Clause 4 is agreed to. Clause 5, constitution of board. Any debate and objection? Clause 5 is agreed to. Clause 6, functions of board. Any debate and objection? Clause 6 is agreed to. Clause 7, executive director, secretary, and other staff of council. Any debate and objection? Clause 7 is agreed to. Clause 8, agricultural market observatory unity. Any debate and objection? Clause 8 is agreed to. Clause 9, information management and dissemination systems. Any debate and objection? Clause 9 is agreed to. Clause 10, non-application of part. Any debate and objection? Clause 10 is agreed to. Clause 11, prohibition of engaging in agricultural marketing or acting as market player without registration. Any debate and objection? Clause 11 is agreed. Clause 12, registration of person engaged in agricultural marketing and market players. Any debate and objection? Clause 12 is agreed to. Clause 13, request for additional information. Any debate and objection? Clause 13 is agreed to. Clause 14, validity of certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 14 is agreed to. Clause 15, renewal of certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 15 is agreed to. Clause 16, change in details. Any debate and objection? Clause 16 is agreed to. Clause 17, display of certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 17 is agreed to. Clause 18, transfer of certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 18 is agreed to. Clause 19, suspension or cancellation of certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 19 is agreed to. Clause 20, obligations of registered persons engaged in agricultural marketing and registered market players. Any debate and objection? Clause 20 is agreed to. Clause 21, declaration of agricultural product or class of agricultural product. Any debate and objection? Clause 21 is agreed to. Clause 22, intervention measures. Any debate and objection? Clause 22 is agreed to. Clause 23, consultations. Any debate and objection? Clause 23 is agreed to. Clause 24, import and export regulations. Any debate and objection? Clause 24 is agreed to. Clause 25, inspectors. Any debate and objection? Clause 25 is agreed to. Clause 26, powers of inspectors. Any debate and objection? Clause 26 is agreed to. Clause 27, traceability and digital systems. Any debate and objection? Clause 27 is agreed to. Clause 28, research and development. Any debate and objection? Clause 28 is agreed to. Clause 29, register. Any debate and objection? Clause 29 is agreed to. Clause 30, appeals. Any debate and objection? Clause 30 is agreed to. Clause 31, General offenses, any debate and objection? Clause 31 is agreed to. Clause 32, general penalty, any debate and objection? Clause 32 is agreed to. Clause 33, offense by board, corporate or incorporated board. Any debate and objection? Clause 33 is agreed to. Clause 34, administrative penalty. Any debate and objection? Clause 34 is agreed to. Clause 35, immunity. Any debate and objection? Clause 35 is agreed to. Clause 36, guidelines. Any debate and objection? Clause 36 is agreed to. Clause 37, regulations. Any debate and objection? Clause 37 is agreed to. Schedule on page 24, any debate and objection? Schedule on page 24 is agreed to. Long title, any debate and objection? Long title is agreed to. The bill will be reported to the House as having passed through the committee stage with amendments. Madam Speaker, I have to report to the House that the Committee of the Whole House has gone through the Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2025 with amendments.
Day for consideration of the report.
Tomorrow, Madam Speaker.
Consideration of the report to be taken tomorrow, Thursday, 26th February 2026. Next order.
Madam Speaker, I have to report to the House that the Committee of the Whole House has gone through the Food Reserve Agency Bill, National Assembly Bill number 33 of 2025 with amendments.
Day for consideration of the report.
Tomorrow, Madam Speaker.
Consideration of the report to be taken tomorrow, Thursday, 26th February 2026. Next order.
Madam Speaker, I have to report to the House that the Committee of the Whole House has gone through the Agricultural Marketing Bill, National Assembly Bill number 35 of 2025 with amendments.
Day for third reading.
Tomorrow, Madam Speaker.
Third reading to be taken tomorrow, Thursday, 26th February 2026. Next order.
the State-Owned Enterprise Bill, National Assembly Bill number 37 of 2025, report stage.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the report of the committee be adopted.
As no notice has been received of any further amendment, is it your will that the report of the committee be adopted? Any objection? I see none. Report adopted. Day for third reading?
Tomorrow, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Third reading to be taken tomorrow, Thursday, 26th February 2026. Next order.
The National Payment System Bill, National Assembly Bill number 32 of 2025, third reading.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill be now read the third time.
The question is that the bill be now read the third time. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. Let the bill be read the third time.
The National Payment System Bill, National Assembly Bill number 32 of 2025.
Next order.
Thanks. The President's address, motion of 24th February 2026, resumption of debate.
When order, honorable members. When the House adjourned yesterday, Tuesday, 24th February 2026, the House was considering the motion moved by the Honorable Member for Chikankata that the thanks of this Assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the President's address. Any further debate? The Honorable Member for Chimwemwe.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. May I also thank the mover of the motion. Madam Speaker, may I also take this opportunity to debate on the progress made in the application of national values and principles, as the President presented his speech on Friday last week. Madam Speaker, I'll start with morality and ethics. Let's look at alcohol, drug, and substance abuse. Madam Speaker, we've noticed that there are several interventions being undertaken by government. These are free education, skills training, empowerment, and sensitization. However, Madam Speaker, the people of Chimwemwe are concerned because the growing widespread of the vice has actually hit our schools. These are not only secondary schools, Madam Speaker, but these are also primary schools. Madam Speaker, you agree with me that primary school kids are very, very, very young for any person, Madam Speaker, in their sane mind to actually sell any sort of drug to them. Madam Speaker, what is happening is actually the same young pupils that we have in primary schools are being used by pharmacy owners or perhaps workers that work for pharmacies to actually trade and sell the same drugs to their fellow pupils. But, Speaker, if you look at this, this is a crisis that, Madam Speaker, that needs serious attention. We do agree and appreciate that the DEC have actually given us their way of handling things by taking these people to court and actually taking them to prison. But, Speaker, jailing the young ones that are actually taking this drug, Madam Speaker, is not good enough. Because when they come out of there, Madam Speaker, they still go back to the same system. It's just as good as, Madam Speaker, taking somebody to a rehab. There's no guarantee, Madam Speaker, that when they come out of the rehab, they will stop. Because most of them, Madam Speaker, go back to taking the drug. Madam Speaker, what we need to do is to clip those people, the grown-up people, Madam Speaker, that call themselves businessmen or businesswomen, who are actually making money from, Madam Speaker, selling these substances to the young ones. Madam Speaker, how I wish we had reserved the death penalty specifically for this offense. Madam Speaker, there's no sane person. In fact, there's no humanity in such a person, Madam Speaker, who trades such kind of deals with the young ones. Madam Speaker, those are the people that are going to steer this country in the future. Madam Speaker, if we did not clip this vice, Madam Speaker, we turned to lose our society and our country. That's why, Madam Speaker, in the Western world, especially in Asia, Madam Speaker, you will agree with me that most of them actually hang by the noose, Madam Speaker, or put on an electric chain. Madam Speaker, this is very, very, very heartbreaking, and this is very sorry. Madam Speaker, let me look at humanity, dignity, equity, social justice, equality, and discrimination. Madam Speaker, let me look at the access of clean and safe water. We've noticed that there's interventions, expand to access safe water. We appreciate there's 4.9 million citizens that have been provided with water. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, the people of Chimwemwe are complaining. The old Chimwemwe Township, Madam Speaker, including Garreton Township, Madam Speaker, have corroded galvanized pipes. As a result, Madam Speaker, we have so many leaks. These leaks, Madam Speaker, actually allow foreign materials to actually get into the water. So, Madam Speaker, us as well in the constituency, Madam Speaker, we're asking government to look into it so that we can also have clean water. Madam Speaker, all the pipes need to be changed. We understand, Madam Speaker, that it's not only us that need the water, Madam Speaker, but also Nkana Water needs to save up a bit of money, because we know that, Madam Speaker, we are losing millions of liters of treated water. Madam Speaker, this is something that we believe that the government can look at and help us. Madam Speaker, let me go to social protection programs. We do appreciate that, yes, social transfer to our vulnerable, Madam Speaker, has actually doubled. This is a good sign, Madam Speaker. However, Madam Speaker, there are people of Chimwemwe asking government to relook at one of the programs, a program that they've neglected or the program that they have overlooked at. But Madam Speaker, let's look at funeral service for the vulnerable. But Madam Speaker, these people deserve a dignity in death. Madam Speaker, truly speaking, most of these people, Madam Speaker, when they die, it's a sorry sight. Usually, Madam Speaker, members of Parliament and their councillors come to the aid, but Madam Speaker, this is not enough. Madam Speaker, it's unfortunate that we as members of Parliament cannot debate ourselves, but Madam Speaker, to tell you the truth is that we have funerals on a daily basis. Madam Speaker, the little wages or salaries that we get, Madam Speaker, all goes to, Madam Speaker, helping the vulnerable on funerals. That's why, Madam Speaker, it would be great if government could capture the funeral services, Madam Speaker, under social protection. Madam Speaker, let me look at patriotism, national unity. Madam Speaker, we appreciate that the government has strengthened local content under the SI number 68 of 2025. Madam Speaker, which is promoting local content in the mining sector. However, Madam Speaker, the people of the Copper Belt are complaining. There's some mines. Let me be specific, Madam Speaker. There's a mine on the Copper Belt, Madam Speaker, which has actually started, instead of negotiating with suppliers, as the case has always been, Madam Speaker, forcing suppliers to sell the product at a certain amount. Madam Speaker, we all know that we have what is called the MAT tax. Madam Speaker, the MAT tax, Madam Speaker, will not look at how much profit you've generated. Madam Speaker, they will be more interested in the revenue that you've earned throughout the year. Madam Speaker, that 1% coupled with, Madam Speaker, other expenses, this may put our people out of business. Another issue, Madam Speaker, on the MAT tax. I was against the MAT tax, Madam Speaker, but when you go to Kamwala and also go to some of these malls and look at businesses being carried out by the foreign nationals, Madam Speaker, you will agree with me that most of them do not want to issue a receipt once goods and services are purchased. Madam Speaker, what they do is they would rather you pay cash. They won't use a point-of-sale machine because they don't want their funds to be traced. Madam Speaker, the MAT tax should be actually targeted to these people. It's unfortunate that ZR inspectors, Madam Speaker, spend too much time in their offices having coffee, Madam Speaker, and waiting for the known suppliers, Madam Speaker, that supply government and the mines. Madam Speaker, they're supposed to get on the ground, get to the malls, get to Kamwala, Madam Speaker, so that they can mop up that revenue if truly, Madam Speaker, it's going to make any meaningful change. Because, Madam Speaker, I want, when I come here, asking the Minister for a third road in Chimama, Madam Speaker, I do not want them to tell me when funds are available. Madam Speaker, we can actually make those funds available, Madam Speaker, if we can actually capture, Madam Speaker, those foreign nationals, Madam Speaker, that are taking advantage of our tax laws that have got holes in them. Madam Speaker, with those few words, I wish to thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Ngabwe was about to rise on a point of order. The Honorable Member for Ngabwe was going to rise on a point of order that he was not listening to what the Honorable Member for Chimwemwe was saying, and why can't he use the normal English that is used in Zambia? Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Chimwemwe. The Honorable Member for Kabwata.
I'm grateful, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Quite, Madam Speaker, I was also wondering the English that was coming from my elder brother. It was hard for me to understand what he was talking about. Madam Speaker, just on a lighter note. Madam Speaker, when the President came here last week on Friday, he came to report the progress made in the application of national values and principles. However, Madam Speaker, when the President came here, he highlighted some of the issues that are actually facing our communities within the country. One of the things that the President actually mentioned was the issue of how the empowerment initiatives have been which were introduced by the UPND government, how they have managed to change and transform our communities. We talk about the women empowerment. We see how this empowerment under the CDF, how these empowerments that are coming from CEEC, how they've managed to transform our women in our communities. Also, these empowerments, we've seen how people that are living with disabilities have been given an opportunity to access some of these funds. And most of the lives of these people that are living with disabilities, Madam Speaker, they have actually been changed. Look at how the skills training, it's almost everywhere. Kawata alone has managed to train over 2,000 youths in different skills, Madam Speaker, meaning that we are actually changing the setup or the environment of our nation. If you look at countries like Malaysia, Singapore, including Zimbabwe and South Africa, Botswana, these are countries that were actually built by skilled people. So we can never run away from training our children, training our youths, giving them survival skills that will help us to develop a nation. Madam Speaker, the President also did talk about gender-based violence. If you look at the rate at which divorce cases are recorded in the nation of Zambia, and these are some of the things that should be worrying us, because most families that are actually having issues to do with children leaving the homes, going into the street, if you look at the foundation of those families, you find that the family itself, Madam Speaker, you find that the two parents could have either been divorced many years ago or even months. So the rate at which some of these divorce cases are happening in the country, they're actually worrying. The foundation of each and every nation is actually based on the foundation of a strong family value. Madam Speaker, the President, when he came here also, he did actually talk about the abuse of social media. We have seen how people are abusing social media instead of using social media to build and transform their lives. You go to countries like America, you see some of these richest men, like Jeff Bezos from Amazon. He uses social media to transform and build his wealth and create his wealth. But what we see in our circles, especially in the African setup, even in our nation, we find that people are busy posting content that are not even adding any value to the people that are using social media. Look at what we saw just a few days ago, how somebody posted a casket bearing the head of state. How do you do such a thing? That is what we call abuse of the cyberspace. And that is the reason why I call upon the Ministry of Science and Technology to ensure that you equip ZICTA with necessary tools that can easily help us to counter some of these attacks that are happening on social media. Madam Speaker, look how misinformation is happening. And I believe that that is the reason why I feel that we need to enhance some of these regulations, because even AI itself, we don't have a legal framework that can actually support the use of AI. So misinformation, disinformation, and hate speech will continue, Madam Speaker. Look at how now hate speech is happening. Now, the platform that is being used to perpetrate hate speech, Madam Speaker, is now, it has now gone into churches. You go to the pulpit, people are now using the pulpit to transmit hate speech. You see how people are lambasting, babusing, using hate speech just to hate somebody. Madam Speaker, I feel that the abuse of social media, the propagation of hate speech should actually be controlled. Because if we fail to do that, even a child, even a boy child, will end up now feeling vulnerable. I strongly support what the government is doing over the online child protection, that we need to start protecting even the young one, because social media, if it is not used in a proper way, to end up killing and damaging our children. Madam Speaker, on the issue of patriotism and national unity, yes, I support His Excellency when he talked about enhancing the local content. We need to see this, especially in the mining sector and also construction industry. We need to ensure that our own local citizens benefit from this, because we cannot be preaching about local content and yet our own people are not seeing the results of this law. This law has to be applied, whether it is in the mining sector, whether, Madam Speaker, it is in the construction industry. Madam Speaker, also, he did also talk about political violence. We have seen how political violence has actually reduced in the last 4 years. In the past, Madam Speaker, you could not even wear a red T-shirt, even just a T-shirt of man. Even on Valentine's Day, just to wear something red, it was trouble. That's what was happening in the past. But with this present New Dawn government, we have seen how this has actually reduced, and we give credit to the New Dawn government, because this is what we were yearning for as Zambians, Madam Speaker. Look at the way cadreism, look at how cadres have been tamed. Today you cannot find cadres fighting each other on the streets of Lusaka, fighting each other on the streets of Kitwe. It's not happening. We are now seeing the real Zambia that we were yearning for many years, and we give credit to the New Dawn government. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, let me also talk about democracy and constitutionalism, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we all know what we did a few months ago when we were passing Bill 7. This is a great move. We have seen how now we've given opportunities to people that are living with disability that are able to participate in the national affairs of this country. We've seen how now we've given an opportunity for the youths also to see how best they can come and govern or participate in the governance of this, the national affairs of this country. We've seen how also we've created opportunities for our mothers, our youths, and also persons with disability. This is a good thing, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, without us having passed that bill, it would have meant that would have disadvantaged people that cannot manage to compete with people that have already been set up in the political circles with resources. For this, Madam Speaker, I want to urge that even as I support this bill, Madam Speaker, I want to urge the New Dawn government, let's ensure that we continue implementing what we have promised the people of Zambia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just a point of correction. I refer to the Honorable Member for Lufubu as Honorable Member for Ngabwe. There is no constituency known as Ngabwe. I correct myself. It's the Honorable Member for Lufubu. So we go to the next Honorable Member for Kabwe Central.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to debate the speech of the President on the progress made in the application of national values and principles, which was delivered on 20th February 2026. At the onset, Madam Speaker, I want to say that we support this speech, and it was timely. And indeed, we have seen that our president has been consistent each time he comes to address this House on this matter. Allow me to talk about morality and ethics. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, and his government. Indeed, when they came into power, they prioritized national unity. And indeed, you can see that the spirit of patriotism was with him and indeed with the whole government. First of all, they embarked on debt restructuring. This is very important when you're talking about patriotism, because indeed it was easy for our president and his cabinet to look at other issues like maybe contracting, for example, debt, rushing to contracting debt, and also maybe to look at other projects that would have embarked. But they looked at how do we do it? We need to build the country. We need to build the economy of the country. We need to remove the python around of debt restructure, maybe the debt that the country had. And this is very important for anyone who is patriotic enough to make sure that they protect our country. And you saw how hard our president worked with the Minister of Finance and the whole team to restructure the debt so that our country can be saved. And indeed, from the hard work that they did, we have seen that we have saved the amount of money that would have started paying the debt. Now we save the money that has been channeled to free education. And this is very important for our country because indeed, when you look at the education system and what used to happen, many of our children were out of school. And indeed, we saw that even that's where the word junkies came from. Because children were dropping out of school, our parents were not managing to pay for school fees. Sometimes they could even prioritize a male child. And that's why we saw the problem of having early marriages, teen pregnancies, because of the education system that was corroded enough. And thank you so much for the New Dawn government. From that, we saw, of course, free education policy, where we saw a number of our children going back to school, even elderly people going back to school. And because of many children have gone back to school, even girl children, they have gone back to school now, reducing the number of teen pregnancies and early marriages. And also the policies that the government prioritized of, for example, amending the Children Code Act number 2022, which at least protects our girl child by defining who a child is. So these are the issues that the New Dawn government has done to make sure that we protect our children. But we want to make sure that we need to do more so that we make sure that no child should be married early, no child should fall pregnant while at school, because there's a free education. And no parent should give an excuse of having no resources to take our children to school, because now there's free education. Not only free education, before, parents used to construct classroom blocks. They used to take responsibility of infrastructure development in schools. But now, the New Dawn government has taken it all. They are feeding the children, they are paying for the school fees, we are constructing classroom blocks, and indeed, we are feeding the children at school. So everything the government has taken care of. So we thank God for this government that is so caring for our people. Madam Speaker, allow me also to put on record that because of what the government is doing, for 2025, you saw the results of girl child from, I think, grade 9 level, that the girls' the passing rate was higher than even the boys. So saying that the policies that the government has put in place is really working. And so as mothers, we are so happy that at least our girl children are doing fine now. But we want to say that we do not want a boy child to be left behind, so we need also to jack them up so that at least we are at 50-50 in terms of performance. Madam Speaker, allow me to talk about also human dignity, equity, and social justice. I want to say that, Madam Speaker, indeed, the government is doing everything possible to make sure that there is equity in our country. We have seen the way the development has gone to all corners of this country in terms of provision of CDF. No constituency is given less amount of money. It is all equal. This is what a prudent government is supposed to do to make sure that there is distribution of equal resources to all parts of the country. And this has seen massive development in our country. There's no constituency that can say that they have not done anything. But unless otherwise any MP who does not want to see development or who is anti-government for some reason punishing their own people, otherwise the government is doing everything possible. And indeed, we have seen also with the coming of the amending of the Constitution, where I want to include men, youth, and women in decision-making, and also people living with disability. So all these are signs that the government is doing well in applying of our national values and national unity. Madam Speaker, allow me also to talk about on morality and ethics. Madam Speaker, the President talked about the issue of drug abuse and, of course, the alcohol. These vices are not good for our country. We need to make sure that we see to it that the laws that pertains, especially for young children indulging themselves in alcohol, I think is strengthened. We have seen in our towns, like in my town in Kabwe, we've seen in the evenings, a lot of young children who are at drinking places, drinking alcohol, which is not good. But I want to say that the laws are sufficient enough. I think we need to do more to make sure that we protect our children. And also maybe a suggestion to make sure that we need to make sure that we do a routine checkup, especially in the schools. We need to strengthen laws with a DEC so that we make sure that our children are at least once in a while tested to make sure that we detect early those that are indulging in drug abuse. Once we do that, we'll be able to protect our children. Not that we want to detect and take them to prison, but to detect and to make sure that these children are protected, are counseled early, so that they do not fall off school because of the bad vices they are doing. Madam Speaker, allow me also to talk about the garbage. I think our President stressed so much on the garbage in our country. Indeed, our country, if you look around, no one can dispute this, it is really sinking in garbage. And this is what we need to make sure that all of us, let's just make sure that we find ways and means to make sure that our mindset, there's mindset change, so that we do not see ourselves, our country becoming so dirty or sinking in garbage. This one is a bad device because it's clogging our drainages. And when the drainages are clogged, our roads are getting destroyed. The roads are destroyed, and even diseases that we see like cholera is because of what we see around. Not only in Saka, everywhere in the country, in the towns are dirty. So the roads are dirty, the drainages are dirty. I think, I don't know how, using the local authority, the laws that are there existing should be strengthened so as to make sure that we clean our towns, we clean our Zambia. We heard from our Minister of tourism that we are receiving even many more tourists that are coming to our country. They should find our place indeed is clean enough, it's conducive. For us, it's beautiful. This is what we need to make sure that we clean our country. So this one is my earnest appeal because my heart has been bleeding. Each time I move around, I say, what is happening? No wonder the other time I brought a motion of maybe we can support the companies that are into recycling so that maybe they can be cleaning the garbage around our country. So to finalize my speech, I want to say that please let's make sure that we strengthen the laws and we enforce garbage collection in our country. Madam Speaker, thank you so much.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kantanshi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As I rise to associate myself to the speech, as well as support the speech, Madam Speaker, I would like to make a few comments and suggestions to the speech. Madam Speaker, I will start with mining, which is basically my constituency. We're a mining constituency. Madam Speaker, we want to thank the government for the foreign direct investment and pledges that have come into the mining sector, close to $12 billion. We believe, Madam Speaker, that the expansion in the mining sector, particularly in Kantanshi, should be able to provide jobs. But, Madam Speaker, my main concern under jobs in Kantanshi is that we have workers that are not properly rewarded in terms of salaries. Some of them have not even benefited from the NAPSA savings or the 10% partial withdrawal. That in itself, Madam Speaker, should be a concern to government, because when we are providing leadership, as we are, we want to make sure that prosperity is properly shared. So I thought that the government should quickly look into that. Madam Speaker, the President also talked about the preference for Zambians to be given opportunities to do business. That is a very welcome move. However, Madam Speaker, when it comes to paying those businesses, it is becoming extremely challenging. In fact, a payment now for a contract is just a mere promise. That is not going to continue to motivate our people, because as our economy is growing as it is now, and when all these opportunities start to get provided for our people, what is the point in you investing in a business and yet you want to be paid on time? Now, this has not just been in government, and I would like government to take a serious introspect in this. Even private sector has gotten into that habit. This is not how it's supposed to be. So there is need for government to engage private sector. After all, it's private sector that is supposed to be providing these opportunities for our people. Madam Speaker, I also thought about the issue of underage marriages as well as teenage pregnancies, something that the President's speech directly spoke to, especially to my people who are living in Murundu, who are living in Minambe, who are living in Mokambo. This is becoming very prevalent. And I was thinking to myself, as much as the President talked about communities working together, the churches working together, I think under the component of CDF, we must find a way of providing a small amount which can be used for outreach programs. And this came to my thought as I was reading a letter from a Catholic church in my constituency, which end of this month, they'll be carrying out outreach programs for teenage pregnancies, early marriages, as well as divorce and general relationships. So yes, the church can come up with these ideas, and they will still continue to look for resources as they have asked me to provide a contribution. I just thought that as a community fund, CDF, we could create that component, which could become a permanent feature so that, month in, month out, these outreach programs could be carried out. Another point, Madam Speaker, which I thought the government should also take on, as they have said on electricity, it's been confronted head-on, is water. Madam Speaker, speaking for my constituency, we don't have water. And even our sewer line system has been a challenge. I had an opportunity not too long ago to take the managing director of Nonga Water in some of the communities around. And thank you to the Minister of Water who facilitated that. But in general, we don't have any water. So we're expecting government to come up with strategies, ideas that will be able to respond to this as the electricity issue has been responded to. And finally, Madam Speaker, I just wanted to also emphasize the need for government to look at areas. Yes, free education is being provided. Yes, children are going back to school. But the President also talked about hurdles, any hurdles that will be able to not support a child going to school. We need to look at that. The other day I spoke about these fees that have been lumped on, GCE fees. That, I think, has become a hindrance. And further, Madam Speaker, even as our economy is growing, the government has the largest number of colleges in the country. But these college fees keep rising every year. Now, if you are talking of a growing economy, which means today the President has announced that our inflation rate is 7.5%, single digit, meaning you have more cash to spend on fewer goods. And, if you have a weak kwacha, it means you're spending more on fewer goods. But in this case, it's strengthened. But how do we take that into people's pockets or people's lives? We look at some of the expenses that on a monthly basis families spend on. And one of them is education, higher education in terms of college fees. If we could also have the government to study college fees and how they could be maybe capped or even slightly reduced, that in itself will speak to the strengthening of our economy, and that in itself will respond to the free education which starts from grade 1 to 12. Because what's the point of you finishing grade 12 and you can't afford to go to college? Nobody is suggesting that college fees should be abolished, no. But what we are simply saying is that government has got the largest number of colleges. It's important that it starts to relook at some of these college fees and where certain amounts could be reduced. as a means of responding to the strength of our economy, that should also be taken into serious consideration. That said, Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the government, the UPND government, for the work that they have been able to do. I think we are able to see some results, but it will be important to keep working hard. The opportunity for our economy to grow and create jobs and create the wealth that we are all looking for and working for is there. But what will be important is to build on these fundamentals. That said, Madam Speaker, I want to thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. On behalf of Chama North constituents, allow me, Madam Speaker, also to add my voice on the speech which was delivered to this August House by the President on 20th February 2026 in regard to application of national values and principles. Madam Speaker, I'll go direct to morality and ethics. The President highlighted a number of social vices which are confronting this country. Specifically, in his speech, the President highlighted the issue of alcohol abuse, drug abuse, substance abuse, gender-based violence, teenage pregnancies, and child marriages. And I think my colleague from Kabwata, Honorable Tayengwa, also spoke about the issue of alarming cases of divorce cases in this country. By 2023, statistics show that more than 36 divorce cases were recorded in this country. And Lusaka alone, 9,000. I think that is a source of grave concern, and I think as a country, if we don't take holistic measures to deal with these vices, we are going to create a broken country. Madam Speaker, yes, government has made progress in trying to put interventions to confront these vices, such as free education, skills development programs, just to mention but a few. Madam Speaker, if we are not careful as a country, you'll find that some of these interventions are not going to achieve their intended targets. For example, while the government has introduced free education, we have a challenge at the moment, Madam Speaker, where basic schools, which used to provide grade 8 to grade 9, are being downgraded, meaning that now learners have to now access education covering distance of 700 kilometers. So meaning that we are going to reverse these gains under the free education, especially for a girl child, because a girl child cannot manage to go and do self-boarding, because this downgrading of these basic schools have created a lot of challenges among learners. Today, our children start grade 1 maybe at the age of 5. By the time they're in grade 8, they are 11 years. Do you expect that child to go and do self-boarding? The answer is no. Do you expect that child to go and be kept by a relative somewhere away from the parents? The answer is no. So these are some of the challenges which, if we are not careful, may derail the free education policy. The issue of skills development, a very, very good program, Madam Speaker. A country cannot develop if only we focus on white-collar jobs. We need to ensure that we also focus only on blue-collar jobs, promoting skills. Under the CDF, a lot has been done. Many constituencies have trained a lot of our people. But I think we should have done more, Madam Speaker, if the Ministry of Education at least is able to regulate some of these Taveta institutions. Some of these institutions, they want to reap where they did not sow. So there are so many institutions which have been, which has come up now in this country and are charging exorbitant tuition fees. Surely, how can you charge 30,000 for 1 month just to do a driving course? Some of these courses are even more expensive than degree courses at the University of Zambia, Copperbelt University, just skills development. Paying 40,000, 50,000 kwacha for 3 months. I feel that a government must regulate some of these institutions which want to reap where they don't sow. Definitely, you cannot equate a degree to a certificate. Where a degree is costing less, a certificate now is costing more. So to me, I feel that we are able to increase more of our people to access skills development, if at all some of these tuition fees are reasonable so that we can send as many people as possible. Madam Speaker, I go to democracy and constitutionalism. Madam Speaker, on page 12, the President mentioned that the government is committed to preserve freedom of assembly and association. Madam Speaker, further, the President also indicates that the New Dawn government is committed to ensure that we hold free, fair, credible, and peaceful elections. Madam Speaker, the tenets of democracy and constitutionalism can be anchored or centered on creating strong institutions of good governance. I think that is an area we have not done well as a country. 60 years, more than 6 years after independence, we have not transformed these institutions. These institutions are not able to operate independently. And you'll find that even the heads of these institutions like the ECZ, the law enforcement agencies, the judiciary, just to mention but a few, even those officers who are able to discharge their duties professionally, you'll find that sometimes they lose their jobs for merely discharging their jobs professionally. Because they don't have security of tenure. So I think for this country to resonate well with the speech by President Mahama when he addressed this August House, President Mahama clearly stated that for democracy to thrive, we need to develop strong, autonomous, and strong and autonomous state institutions of good governance, referring to President Obama when he came to Ghana addressing the Ghanaian Parliament on 11th July 2009 in Accra. So, Madam Speaker, this is an area where we have not done well as a country. Let's talk about the Public Order Act. The Public Order Act was a colonial piece of administration, piece of legislation, which was used by the colonial government to suffocate the liberties, freedoms and liberties of Africans so that they cannot fight for political freedom. But we have still maintained such kind of archaic and draconian pieces of legislation. Today, Madam Speaker, even indoor meetings, people are being arrested. Even under UNIP, we changed from the colonial government to UNIP. The same Public Order Act was being used by the UNIP government to suppress the opposition voices. MMD came, the same pattern continued. Under PF, the same pattern continued. Under the UPND, the same pattern has continued. It's very, very sad that more than 60 years of independence, we can still keep draconian and archaic laws in our statute books. Even when there was a landmark judgment by the Supreme Court in Christine Mulundika and 7 others versus the people, the Supreme Court, under the respectable, distinguished Chief Justice Mefi Nguruwe, delivered the judgment that the Public Order Act was unconstitutional because it infringed on the freedom of speech.
Member, can you wind up?
So, Madam Speaker,
can you wind up?
so with these few remarks, Madam Speaker, I think I make this submission, and I think there's a need that we need to transform these institutions so that they can stand the test of time for the future generation. Thank you.
Thank you. There's an indication for a point of order. Honorable Member. Honorable Member for Luena.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise on a point of order on Standing Order number 71. The Honorable Member on the floor has made a very, very misleading statement. Is he in order to say that there is a court judgment which declared the Public Order Act unconstitutional in this country? Madam Speaker,
There is no such thing. Is he in order, Madam Speaker, to mislead himself, mislead the country, and mislead the people of Chama South, Madam Speaker, to make a declaration that does not exist anywhere in this country? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Chama North was referring to the Christine Mulundi Kamata against the Attorney General. That's the one that he was referring to. So that is his understanding of that judgment. So if you have any contrary views, you can debate on that issue and bring out your own issues. Any further debate? As the time is 16:40, I suspend business for 20 minutes. We have to work. We can't waste time. We have to prepare to come and debate.
Thank you so much. You are watching Parliament TV. Business has been suspended for...
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House now adjourns.
As no notice of an item for debate on the motion of adjournment of the House has been received, I put the question. The question is that the House now adjourns. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. The House is now adjourned.
Tomorrow at 14:30 hours time now to look at the business which has been transacted on the floor of the House. Today we start with the announcements. Madam Speaker did recognize the presence in the public gallery of students from the University of Zambia Development Studies Association in Lusaka District, and Madam Speaker welcomed the visitors to the institution.
After that announcement, the House considered 3 questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 80. Question 218. Before we get to the questions, there was one more announcement. Madam Speaker did recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Queen Tabita Muntu, Valetiet Legacy Academy in Chongwe District. And so, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, Madam Speaker warmly welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly.
Yes, indeed. After that, there were 3 questions under Standing Order 80, questions of order in nature. And question 218 did come from Mr. Gistive Chonde, Mirenge Member of Parliament. He did ask the Minister for Water Development and Sanitation whether the government has any plans to construct a water treatment plant in Mirenge District. If so, when the plans will be implemented, and if there are no such plans, why? The minister did respond by saying that our government has plans to construct a water treatment plant in Mirenge District, adding that government has already taken feasibility studies. And in answering Part B of the question, which was when the plans will be implemented, the minister did say that the plans will be implemented once funds are made available.
Question 219 did come from Mr. Mkosa of Chinsali. He did ask the Minister of Information and Media when government to procure utility vehicles for the Zambia News and Information Services Office in Muchinga Province to enhance operations. And in response, the Acting Minister of Information and Media did say that in September 2025, the Ministry of Information and Media did buy vehicles, motor vehicles, for all provincial centers, including Muchinga.
The House then considered orders over the day. The Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2025, passed through committee with amendment, and a report to be taken tomorrow.
The other government bill that was considered at committee stage was the Food Reserve Bill, National Assembly Bill number 33 of 2025. It passed a committee stage with amendments, and consideration of the report is expected to take place tomorrow, Thursday, 26th February.
The Agricultural Marketing Bill, National Assembly Bill number 35 of 2025, was considered with amendments, and report to be taken tomorrow.
That's the third reading stage will be taken tomorrow. And the House also considered the State-Owned Enterprises Bill, National Assembly Bill number 37 of 2025. The report was adopted, and third reading of this particular bill will be taken tomorrow, Thursday, 26th of February.
The National Payment System Bill, National Assembly Bill number 32 of 2025, was read a first time and passed.
After that, there was a resumption of debate on thanks, the President's address, a motion of 24th of February, and this was in line with the address that was delivered by the Republican President last week on Friday, the 20th of February, on the progress made in the application of national values and principles. And so members of Parliament are debating the particular speech. Those that added their voice today include Kawata Member of Parliament, Mr. Taengwa. We did have Kawe Central Member of Parliament, Mrs. Chrysosta Halwindi, Kantanshi MP, Mr. Anthony Mumba, and lastly, Chairman North Member of Parliament, Mr. Yotam Tajaru. So debate on this particular motion stands adjourned.
Yes, indeed. That was a business which was considered on the floor of the House today on behalf of my co-presenter, Claudette Sinders Jonga. I am Joe Akatama, and of course, not forgetting our two sign language interpreters, Chola Kaoma and Jocelyn Manda. Continue watching Parliament TV.